Hello, hello. It is the one and only 5D Transformations, and I'm back. In this video, I want to talk about the three levels of mental power that you can access. And what you got to understand is there's a certain level of ability or power or potential that people get out of these parts of the brain. But if you really hone in and put a lot of your energy and trust into a certain space, you're going to maximize that area. You're going to begin, and if you really go hard, you can unlock uh, levels that people don't understand exist. Now, if we look at the reptilian brain, that's the base part of the brain. It's that primal one. It was the first part of the brain. It's the one that we share with all animals. Um, and that's the survival element of the brain. It's in reaction. It's that fight or flight element that we have comes from that reptilian brain. It's the aspect of us that operates from a sense of reaction. That part of us that's programmed. The part of us that essentially is reactive. It runs very deep within our primal nature. Your fears, your beliefs about life, right? The belief is really embedded deep into that reptilian brain. And that's the easiest part of the brain to program. And it's the part of the brain that's programmed at our youngest age when we don't really have a full concept of life. It's very much survival based. It's yes or no. It's, live or die. It operates from very polar aspect, all or nothing. You know what I mean? And as time goes on, we evolve. And what you realize is some people never get past that point. It always boils down to them. There are people who, they have a life where that reptilian brain dominates their entire life, always operating from a place of fear. It doesn't help when you think of trauma. Trauma is stored in this part of the brain. You know, that deep feelings. You know what I mean? That connect with those areas of survival. It's very basic. It's very primal. It's about me. It's very selfish. It's that base part of our experience where it's very much about us when you're a child, right? Some people don't get past that. But you have the midbrain, or they call it the mammalian brain, which is as we developed as animals or whatever, as beings, we begin to evolve our brain and become more social and have more social elements as part of the brain makeup. So as you can see, the midbrain, right in that middle area, that's a lot of that area is responsible for our ability to interact. And that's where you start having elements like sacrifice or teamwork or thinking of the bigger picture or caring about feelings. This is where feelings really come into the picture in terms of thinking more than just about yourself, of caring about others. This is where the love element or attraction, liking, these things begin to kick in. Companionship, experiences that are being remembered. That all exists in the midbrain. Uh, you know that really is where a lot of that feeling and intuition, to a certain degree, which more so memory, kind of kicks in. It's more so memory on that level of the midbrain. And there's a level of power you can access with that, being able to be very savvy and influential in the social environment. If you really get into that level where your reptilian and midbrain is connected, you can really become influential, be a leader. A lot of people who are leaders or of organizations or in positions of power, they utilize a lot of this part of the brain in order to influence. Because fight or flight, the reptilian brain, you have to actually trigger that in people sometimes to get them to buy in. Like in politics, the threat of what the other candidate might do if they win is what that fight or flight, that reptilian brain is going to drive the voter to vote for this person. So you can see it there. But then there's this third level, which is the neocortex. And this is the prefrontal cortex, prefrontal lobe. It's the most recent one that developed the most recently. And it's the one that connects us with intuition on a higher level. Our ability to create new things, our ability to be forward thinking, to envision different scenarios, possibilities, to think of different unique scenarios, to create, to tap into deeper elements and feelings and experiences in life. Um, you know, Ingenuity exists in this area. You know what I mean? And this is the part that if you lean into this area, you're going to unlock a different level. And there are a lot of human beings who have not, you know, elevated to the point of really utilizing the neocortex. You know, when you open this up, this is where you have the vision. This is where you have that deeper understanding of what's going on in the game of life. And you have to really understand that if you're able to tap into this power, this should become the ruling principle. You know, this is the part of the brain that should guide everything else. This is the part that's leading the ship. This is the captain. And when you're able to really delve into that prefrontal cortex and really tap into that power, you start to develop a spiritual element. It becomes a frequency that begins to build. Because you got to understand, each part of the brain is tapping into different frequencies and different brain waves. And when you're able to tap into that neocortex, you're tapping into certain frequencies that most animals don't tap into, that most human beings don't tap into. So you're going to start channeling and bringing in different messages, right? Because it takes a certain part of the brain to tap into a certain frequency of information, because that's the only way it can decode it properly, these certain frequencies. You know, these frequencies exist out here in nature. There's so many different frequencies, you're just not picking up on it. Like right now, you don't know the frequency on 93.9 or 95.5 or Hot 97. You don't know what they're playing right now unless you got the radio on. But that doesn't mean those frequencies aren't out there. You're just not picking up on them. So that's what the neocortex is all about, is tapping into that frequency, and then it's going to open up new pathways of possibilities of what you can do. And this is how you enhance your experience in the game of life and enhance the creation you're able to bring to the game of life, because your reality is lining you up based on the law of correspondence. You know, because you're tapping into this part of your brain, the frequencies that you're going to be able to tap into is going to push you in a different direction. So now when you're taking your daily actions in life, you're going to take different ones than you would have, because you're seeing the bigger picture. So when you really lean into this and let your neocortex become your guiding principle, that's where magical things happen. And that's where certain doors open up for you that would have never been thought of to be possible. Okay. So that's my message for you all. We're going to definitely have more game for you all. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to go into the Patreon and tap into the different courses we got. We got the MBTI Magic course, very, very powerful course to understand MBTI in a completely different level. Understand yourself at a completely different level. MBTI is incredible. Make sure to check out the dating and relationship course that we got. We also have a very powerful pyramid coaching program on there. And I'm dropping some new videos on there this week. So make sure to tap in, and I'll see you all in the next video. So